2.
So we've been talking about how we make our choices, and we said that we make our choices through associations. We said we make them through experiences as well as interpretations. And so when we move from how we make our choices, then we need to begin to create a new pathway of how to uncondition our mindsets that leads us into failure and the fear of success. So the very first thing I want to talk to you about is something called shock shift. And shock shift is when you are able to go, and something happens so extreme all of a sudden that it mentally just cuts everything that you believe, intellectually cuts everything you believe, and it literally shocks you into a shifting position. And what I believe is happening and has happened is that we've not been shocked enough. For some people, it's going to take more than being homeless. For some people, it's going to take more than whatever. But I think when you come to the realization and you wake up and you come to the realization that where you are is based on what you have been choosing, that's a shock shift. I am and I have what I have because of what I choose every day. Who I choose to entertain, what I choose to read, what I choose to experience, how I choose to interpret those experiences brings me to this place where I begin to condition myself for failure. And I push back from success. Because success really requires that I don't have a crowd. Success requires that I'm willing to take one step at a time and by myself. And I'm glad if somebody comes alongside of me, and I'm okay if there's nobody there. But when you're fearful, you're always divided and distracted. Fear distracts you. Dr. Charles Stanley did the 4 consequences of fear, and he said fear divides true purpose. It alienates you from growing spiritually. It reminds you of the distractions that are designed to kill you. And if fear is not real and the devil, and this is something for me, if fear is not real and the devil is a lie, then why do we keep believing in both?
What, Jesus?
I was having my quiet time the other morning, and God said, if fear, he spoke to me, if fear is not true and the devil is a lie, then why do you keep believing in it as it's true? You give that thing the power to be more than what it is. So you have to shock shift yourself. Midstream, somebody saying something crazy, don't want to hear it. And that's a shock shift. I don't even wait for your response. Don't want to hear it, I'll walk away. You know, I'm not the one you're going to be dumping. If you're going to be dumping, it's going to be about your stuff. It can't be about inclusive about somebody else. Okay, you were raped. Okay, you were molested. I don't want to know what they did that impacted you. How is what they did impacting you now? And what are you doing to keep refueling it? Because they're not even, that's an aha moment. They're not in your life anymore. But we're doing something that keeps fueling it. They're gone. So you have to shock shift your system. The second way of unconditioning yourself from the place of failure, you need to panhandle your emotions. And I know we know what panhandle means, and we use it in terms of those who are begging for money. I'm not. I've seen panhandlers be very discreet about who they ask now. They used to ask everybody, is that the truth? But they you got $1? You got $2? You need to panhandle your emotions. You need to figure out where you're going to take it. Who you're going to give it to. It's up to us. That's not something God does. He made us free will agents. You just say, you know what, today I'm not giving you my emotions today. I don't give you the victory over me being happy or sad today. Because those things line up to whether I'm either well or sick.
Glory.
We're sick today because we're not well on the inside. And we keep trying to preach this other kind of message, and it's not hitting because people are sick. And you know how but it won't take away or resolve the issues underneath. That's what Jesus was always about. Not come as you are. He didn't even say that. But he was just like, just let me be who I am, and you be exactly who you are. And if the two meet up, then we could all be where we need to be. We'll be free. When I did an altar call last Friday when I had to speak, the topic was doing a series, A Woman After God's Heart. And this is just a series that's just kind of going on. And a part of the series was being fruitful in your land of affliction. So at this speaking engagement that I was at, and I was talking about the need for women to raise the standards in their lives as women. Raise the standards of your conversation. Read more. You want to do everything else, but you don't want a Bible. You don't want to read. And when I did the altar call, which I'm a very different kind of person, and because I was bringing, they said I was bringing the heart, but the minister, everybody was coming down. Everybody was coming down, and the women just wept, and the power of the Lord came so strong that it was just crazy. And I said, God, and God did what only God can do. And I said, God, but we're not here to erase and to get emotional. Not here to be emotional. We thank you that your presence has convicted us to a place where we can yield some tears. But what we need before we leave here is to know that you are God. And beside you, there will never be another. I don't need you to be my psychiatrist, you my lawyer in the courtroom, because then after you've done what I need you to do, then I don't need you no more. And that's why there's no commitment in the house of God. There's no desire to pray. There's no desire to fast. Because we've created this like genie-like God so that therefore we're not properly moving our emotions where they need to be. And now we're all over the place. And as they were on the altar, the power of God was so strong. And I just laid my hand on the shoulder and I just said, I just agree with my sister. I agree that she will be a woman after your own heart. I agree with her. I agree that she will come to know you as Lord and Savior. As the beginning and the ending. I agree that she will come to know you as the Alpha and Omega. And in her in-between choices in life. That if she could just focus on why you came, that she might be saved. She might come to know that you died, that she doesn't have to die in her sins and in her ignorance. And the more I kept talking, the power of God just came and it was just a flood in that place. And I thought about it because we are giving ourselves to too many people in the wrong way. And they're abusing us, raping us. And so, in reconditioning ourselves from a place of failure, you need to do number one. You need to have a shock shift, something that literally makes you change. Number two, you need to panhandle your emotions. And number three, you need to rehearse the truth. Now, we always talk about the truth will set us free. The problem with that is that people are living under the lie, so they can't actually feel and see the truth. You have to rehearse it. The book of Deuteronomy talks about. You got to hear the commandments, hear the law, and rehearse the truth. Put it in your kids' ears. Rehearse the commandments. We're not rehearsing it because we don't know it. We've bought into something, but it ain't been God. And God's been somewhat angry with us because we're not rehearsing the truth. So that's why we believe all the stuff. And he's like, look, if you want me to find your choices, think out loud powerfully and actually do the things you say you want to do, you are going to need to rehearse my truth. And my truth says, even though they hate your guts, you don't have it. You can't cuss them out. You can't. I will fight your battles. I rehearse the truth. You say it works for your good, but you're still working for your good too.
Glory to God.
When are we going to see that I don't have to tell you that she hates me? Whoever you are will show up. I'm going to do what the Bible says. I'm going to hug you. How you doing, sister? God bless you. I'll be so genuine. It's going to reap heaps of coal on your head. But nobody's being reconciled because nobody's rehearsing the truth. We're presenting like we're the truth. But we're like our father, the devil, and we're deceiving. Because too many people are bound. How can you be true and bound? It don't work. It don't work. And because Jesus is my example, he's the only thing I'm looking at. Everywhere he went, whether they were sinners or not, everything had to get loose. Or they left, which was their choice. And many, he didn't run after them. You got to know your position. Some are called to run. How do you have time to run after people who refuse to hear the truth? We don't. We don't. We have to rehearse the truth for our own lives. God, what are you saying for me today? How do I be what you call me to be? How do I break into this? Rehearse what he says. How he says it. And walk it out. You don't have to give explanation for what you've already got establishment for. You never have to give explanation when God has already established you. You just don't. You don't. And I used to be an explainer, and I would, I'm doing this because of this. And it just diminishes your worth. Because people of value never have to explain what they're worth. Do you think that Bill Gates had to explain his worth? And when he was up and coming, he didn't explain his worth either. He explained the product. This is why we're not moving. We're trying to explain our worth instead of explaining the product, and God is the product. His word, biblical principles, is the product.